All right, let's talk about this bullshit for a few minutes, shall we? So, this is a conversation between a client who had said in a public Facebook group that unfortunately the hypnosis session that she paid for didn't work. And then the top is a hypnotherapist who does not know this client at all, who said that it never worked because that is what you choose. All hypnosis is self hypnosis. You chose to go into hypnosis or not. And this is the client's reply. If I chose not to get hypnosis, I would not have bothered to go. I'm lost here. And this is actually a very bullshit fucking cop out response from this therapist. And I'm actually with the client for this one. It is so unfortunate then that in the hypnotherapy world, we have these hypnotherapists who assume that they know better. This is not the case. No one was there with this client to know exactly what happened in the session and why they came to the therapist to begin with, right? And so this is a fucking cop out for therapists who are like, if you didn't get hypnotized, then you are the problem. You chose not to go. Meanwhile, not realizing that unconscious resistance and conscious resistance is a thing that is triggered because that client doesn't feel safe because maybe the hypnotherapist is not trustworthy enough. I know. I said it. And I sorry, not sorry at all. There needs to be some accountability and radical responsibility for this. And in the hypnosis world, in the hypnotherapy world, I have been there, I've been trained traditionally. It doesn't work for all clients. Why? Because not everyone can visualize going down the fucking stairs. Not everyone can visualize a screen in front of them with that NLP technique, the dissociation technique that can play a movie of whatever it is that they like. I can't do that. And so if a client cannot do that, it doesn't mean that we can't go into hypnosis. It's just you're trying to make our brains do something that it cannot do naturally. That is on the therapist and not on the client. And so I wanted to talk about this because if you know this or you've noticed this, then definitely, and maybe it's your colleague or so, it is a great learning opportunity to actually say that there are many, many reasons as to why a client wouldn't go into hypnosis. It's not always just because they chose not to. It may be because the technique that the therapist used doesn't work and fit a client into a box that a client didn't fit in, square peg or on a round hole and vice versa, right? And so this is has nothing to do with the client. If a client does want to change, if the client has paid a therapist money because they want to change and the hypnosis didn't work, that's more on the therapist. I'm going to say it. And, are there going to be instances where there can be difficult clients? Sure, that happens with everything, right? But to say that is the client's fault at first, meanwhile, there are many other reasons as to why it could be the case where the thing that I just mentioned, some clients don't want to go down 5 steps. That seems very daunting to them. Some clients are fear water. And if you talk about them of the calming rush of water and you have a phobia with regards to the deep sea, then that's not going to work, right? And this is exactly why we don't use these techniques inside our hypnosis sessions because clients want results. They want their solution solved, and getting them hypnotized is not the only way to do it. There are many ways that can induce a hypnotic state that can access the unconscious mind without having these traditional techniques, which this client just said didn't work for them, unfortunately. But we all know that the brain is a problem solving machine if you just know what to do with the information it gives you, and how to ensure that the effects compound over time, which is exactly what the hypnotic questioning course and what I teach is all about. So let's just take responsibility here. And if you are someone who has thought that way before, there's no shame in that. We get to take responsibility for the skills that we need to learn more of. You are a human being, but blaming it on the client is completely immoral and not a very professional thing to do, but it is also your responsibility to improve your skill, we're all here to improve and make the world a better place, right? And blaming clients is definitely not the way to go.